Tak adalah. Apa korang buat last week?
Assignment.
Siap ke Idok?
Siap.
Siap, bagus. That's what I want to hear. Siap. So this week we are going to cover chapter 9 nanti. Tomorrow we're going to cover chapter 9 and insyaAllah next week we're going to cover chapter 10. Lepas tu kita dah habis syllabus Wak. But no sweat, I have lots of things going on for you. Tak adalah banyak sangat pun. Basically we're going to have like one more remaining of your final assignment. Lepas tu you ada presentation lagi kan. Lepas tu you ada test. So in between of that probably ada kot nak bagi you exercise sikit. Sebab your test is going to be somewhat like macam case study. So I'm not so sure if you have like read through certain case study. Nak tengok macam ni case study kan. So nanti kita buat lah kot 1-2 exercise. Or maybe next year I will invite another guest lecture, bagi guest lecture kat korang. Asyik belajar dengan lecturer Malaysia kan. Aku cari nanti lecturer bangsa lain ajar korang. Korang nak negara apa? Indonesia hari ni. India nak India.
Tak mau.
Esok kawan-kawan korang, I think kelas A and kelas D kena masuk dengan lecturer Bangkok. Esok dengan Bangkok. Negara apa yang nak bagi korang? I nak cari lagi lah lecturer. Hopefully, we had this like Englishman. Tapi kan, entahlah, I tak tahu lah korang kan jangan cakap I cakap tapi memang I lah yang cakap. This is like my own personal opinion lah. So looking at Malaysian lecturers and other lecturers from other country kan, I rasa lecturer Malaysia ni cakap laju ke aku macam describe diri sendiri, don't know lah, but seriously lah, because like I saw some of my colleagues deliver diorang punya lecture, they are actually more energetic even though it's on online platform. Yet again, our lecturers are more energetic lah. Not only our UiTM per se, but it's basically local Malaysian lecturers they are much more energetic. Rather than, macam korang pernah tengok tak YouTube punya video-video Mak Saleh India ke apa benda tu kan? Like very monoton tau. Like very monoton kan? So macam I had like few came over to my session pun I macam monoton yang kau. So kadang-kadang I need to interrupt lah, tapi I tak adalah interrupt all the time. Kalau macam rasa terlalu monoton yang I sendiri macam dah lost kan, so I kena interrupt. So that usually happen kalau untuk European. Asian ni okay lagi lah, European tak tahulah, maybe sebab time zone kot, aku suruh dia ngajar time dia tidur ke tak tahulah kan. But usually European dia like very monoton. Ngantuk sikit. Dia macam tegak. Kesian lah. So we're still waiting for Miss Lingga. She requested just now, baru nak tekan admit, lepas tu gone. And then I text kawan dia, Pak Didik pun macam sonyap sopi je, nak masuk ke hidup, tak masuk. I nak sambung kelas. Excited tak korang? Korang ada lagi tinggal 2 chapter. Subjek lain dah banyak tak habis?
Belum habis lagi yang lain.
Belum habis lagi? Mana cik seorang ni nak masuk ke hidup? Sekejap let me call Pak Didip ni. Manalah Miss Lingga ni? Nanti kita bersiaran kembali. Gitu. I banyak layan podcast lately ni. Okay, bye korang, kejap. Hello Miss Lingga.
Halo Dr. Azlin, good morning.
Good morning, how are you Miss Lingga? You're good? I cannot hear you, you're on mute actually.
Okay, can you hear my voice, Dr. Azlin? Okay.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay.
Okay, so shall we begin? Is it good to start now? All right. Okay.
Yes.
Assalamualaikum. A very good morning to our oh my gosh. She is so pretty. To our pretty lecturer from Paramadina University, Miss Linga, as well as to the fellow students of mine. So basically, to Miss Linga, a little bit brief. So the students of mine are actually coming from one class only. We're not combining from several other classes. So there are approximately about 25 or 27 number of students. So these students are actually in their final year, semester 5, tahun ketiga. All right, so we are about to finish our semester somewhere around end of January, and then right after that, they are going to start with their internship for another 6 months before they can actually graduate. All right, so fellow students, along with us today this morning is Miss Linga. So she is actually one of the senior lecturers from the Paramadina University. Her background is actually marketing. So I'm just going to pass the floor to her. So she's going to deliver the session for about 1 hour and 30 minutes like that. So please do not hesitate to ask any questions to her. So this is actually your time and also opportunity to learn something selain daripada saya lah, apart from me. You can learn something from other person as well. So so please be participative and try to make the class as interactive as you can lah. Okay, all right, thank you. So the floor is yours, Miss Linga.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Azlin. Good morning, Dr. Azlin and fellow UATM student. How are you?
Good morning, Dr. Linga.
Fine.
Okay, it's a pleasure for me to able meet virtually in healthy and happy condition. Okay, today I will share about the condition of Gen Z regarding consumer behavior and purchasing behavior. Before I begin, allow me to introduce myself. I will share my slide. Okay, wait a minute, guys. Oke. Sudah terlihat? Sudah nampakkah slide-nya di layar?
Ya, nampak. Sudah.
Oke, thank you. Oke. Saat ini sudah tampak pindah slide? Atau masih di halaman pertama? Sudah nampak. Oke, terima kasih. Saya mulai. Oke, guys. My name is Linga Yuliana. You can call me Miss Linga or Miss Ling Ling. Now, my education background align with program I teach, which is management. My most recent education was master degree, which I earned in 2016. My research interest is marketing management and focusing of brand management and consumer behavior. Currently, our program has added a specialization digital marketing. Therefore, in 2026, I plan to export my research focus to digital marketing as well. Okay, I am trusted to coordinate a research science course where the course where I fall under my responsibility are proposal seminar, creative project, and research methodology. I am an editor of Journal Management and Business Madani. Praise to be God, our journal has accredited by Sinta 5 in 2024. In nationally accreditation, journal is ranked in category from Sinta 1 to Sinta 6. Okay, next slide. Nah, in this slide show Paramadina University appreciation for editorial journal Management and Business Madani, which has successfully managed the journal of its exception to its current state. We look forward to hearing from the fellow UATM student who will write and submit their best manuscript to our journal. Below I provide the link akses ya journal to manage. Silakan teman-teman untuk mengsubmit naskahnya jika teman-teman berminat untuk mengirimkan naskah terbaiknya. Kami tunggu ya teman-teman ya pada link berikut. Oke, saya akan pindah ke next slide. This is the following my career journey, which I began in 2006. When I had just graduated from my high school, I was worked from in small medium enterprise manufacturing company until 2020. In my career as academic was began in 2018. I began my career at Media Nusantara College of Economics, which was now changed name to Media Nusantara University. or MNC university. I also actively work as a part-time lecturer at several university. I start as a part-time lecturer in Dia Nusantara University and Paramadina University in 2021. Teaching began online due the pandemic in Indonesia, which I had a limit time to face-to-face activity. And I joined to Paramadina University in February 2022. That same years, I was instructed with managing journal management and business Madani as an editor. I was also appointed as a scientific research coordinator in February 2022. In 2023, I began reviewing several journal national accreditation. Then in 2024, I expand my network by becoming part-time lecturer and tutor at university outside Dia Nusantara University. I also work at Telkom University for the System Information Study Program and the Universitas Terbuka. Well, I serve as a tutor for the Management Study Program. Okay, in 2025 to present, I was extracted with several strategic positions at the study program, faculty and university levels. First, I served on the prior learning recognition team for management study program. Second, I was extracted by faculty to serve on quality task force team, responsible to auditing the Master of Management study program. Third, I was extracted with advisor of the Capital Market Study Group at Syariah Investment Gallery, Paramadina University. On September 30, 2025, our investment gallery was officially launched and featured in the print and electronic media. In managing the capital market study program, I collaborate with students from the Paramadina University Management program who are also Gen Z, as shown slide 6. Okay. Finally, we are currently preparing to accreditation program, a process for management study. I was appointed the accreditation preparation team at the management study program levels. Okay, guys, I will start to present my material. For those you want to discuss, please use the chat feature the Google Meet. Okay. Okay, next slide. Nah, in this slide, you can look the following image. It is reflected of Gen Z. Nah, most of student in your team as a Gen Z, ya. Okay, Gen Z, in my perspective, is a generation close and adaptable to technology. They currently dominate the workforce, uniquely positioning and highly value to work-life balance. Okay, Gen Z is a generation that does not hesitate to reject and speak out when they see inconsistent and disagreement that the result in loss. Okay, next. Nah, in this slide, you can see demographic in Indonesia. I will present one by one about the generation that we have. In Indonesia, the percentage of millennial and Gen Z in the workforce is slightly different. Currently, Gen Z, okay, in this slide, Gen Z account is 26.94% of the workforce, while millennial mark up 25.87%. Each generation has a different and unique character. Pre-boomer, okay, pre-boomer born before 1945. This generation growing up during difficult times such as Great Depression and World War II. There are now of their strong work ethic, discipline, and frugality. In Indonesia, the pre-baby boomer generation make up to 9.87% of total population of 270.20 million people. Oke. Kemudian saya akan bahas mengenai generasi baby boomer ya, baby boomer born after World War II. In this generation experience a baby born. There are no of being hardworking, career focused, and possessing strong leadership quality. Next, Gen X, growing up in area transition and social change. Generation X is now for the being independent, skeptic, and adaptive. Gen Y or millennial generation, growing up in era globalization and internet development. Millennial are teaching savvy, innovative, and focused on work-life balance. And the last, Gen Z. Gen Z born and raised in digital age. Gen Z is familiar with internet, social media, and mobile device. They are known for being creative, independent, and concerned about social issues. Okay, next slide. Okay, we focus in Gen Z ya guys. Okay, Gen Z is known as a technology adaptive generation. In Indonesia, they tend to use smartphone, social media, and online shopping as their preferred means to purchase they need. Convenience, free shipping, and low price are key of consideration. Nah, Gen Z retention in promoting tend to be focused and short form, visual, and interactive content like live shopping. Gen Z Indonesia is interested to see product live talk live feature to ensure the product they plan to purchase meet their expectation when used by the host. Okay. Second, social influence. Gen Z in Indonesia tend to influence as reference, ask for recommendation for the colleague, and use review to from consumer who buy product to Iwo media as strong influence by making purchase. For example, a consumer plan to purchase a skincare product. They will look a review from previous buyer of product they plan to next ya. For example, consumer plan to purchase a skincare product. They will look several review, okay, and they plan to purchase, including product efficacy, authenticity, and the condition of product upon receipt. Okay, this is crucial to ensuring the seller can ship the product safety and with proper packaging. If the product receive a good condition, consumer will be less likely to leave negative review, negative rating, and avoid further purchase. Okay. Third, interactive engagement. Okay, Indonesia Gen Z consumer really enjoy live shopping session. Okay, terlihat seperti poin ini ya teman-teman ya. Jadi kebanyakan Gen Z menggunakan fitur live shopping seperti ini. Biasanya seperti produk official ya, marketplace di Indonesia yang saya ambil Echinos untuk produk fashion dan skincare. Okay. Their recommendation product from influence who was them and they request product link. Then they can purchase the same product by accessing affiliate link. Okay, I've noticed that live shopping drives a significant transaction among Gen Z. This is because a marketplace like Shopee and TikTok offer market price when shopping, and this prices as offer for limit time. Therefore, consumer and seller will make the most this limit time to make a transaction. Okay. Next slide, purchase channel and pattern. Okay. purchasing channel and pattern as a generation that activity use e-commerce and social commerce. There are several times e-commerce that activity used by Indonesian people, especially Gen Z. First, Tokopedia, Shopee, and Lazada. Gen Z really welcome promotion, flash sale, and live sales. There are certain moments that Indonesian eagerly anticipate, such a payday when discounts are often of 25 every month. Why 25? Because this is the date when Indonesia workforce generally receive their monthly salary. Then, during national holidays such as New Year, Chinese New Year, Eid al-Fitri, Eid al-Adha, and Christmas. In addition, discounts are giving on twin date such as January 1, February 2, March 3, and finally December 12. Okay. Gen Z activity use live shopping feature on the marketplace. Over 60% of Gen Z viewer purchasing during live shopping show high effectiveness in making purchase during real-time shopping session. Okay. Next slide. Okay. In this slide, you can see one of influencer in Indonesia. Her name is Devita Ingrid and have account Instagram Devita Ingrid. She was a beauty influencer from Indonesia who have regularly posts about beauty and health. Her followers often ask for the product recommendation. Okay, therefore Devita actively share affiliate link to encourage her followers to purchase similar product. As some who actively share link affiliate, Devita earn a commission of 2 or 5% for selling price of each product purchased through her recommendation affiliate link. Okay, in this video, okay, you can see. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, this video. Okay, short video is an affiliate link that Devita Ingrid share. They share the link ya, for example like this, link dessert. Okay, Devita share about dessert. You can see peach gum. Okay. Next. Okay, in this slide, Devita Ingrid as promotion the product of her product ya, guys. I will to share this video. Wait a minute. Okay, guys, Devita share her stagnant routine. She then direct her follower to purchase similarity high stagnating product through affiliate link. Okay. Okay. Next slide. Okay, in this slide you can see product Wardah official ya. Wardah Official is one product ya apa namanya, produk skincare. You can produk perawatan wajah in Indonesia di bawah naungan dari Paragon. Okay. You can see the thing. Okay, a live session hosted by Wardah official website on the Shopee marketplace. It is opportunity for consumer interacted with the host to inquire about product availability and consult before making a purchase. Price during the live session are generally lower than the consumer purchase of outside the live session. Okay, next. Okay, purchase driven. A purchase driver of Gen Z, first, authenticity and social value. Gen Z will trust incredible influencer and real review. Okay, second, hedonic and utilitarian motive. Authenticity and social value, trust incredible influencer and real review. Functional, price, convenience, and experiential from trend and entertainment. Value for money sensitivity, Gen Z are price conscious and promo driven. Okay, next. Okay, in this slide you can see influencer. Her name is Novia Arifin and kami menyebutnya Nupi biasanya. Banyak sekali mengenal sebagai Nupi, bukan Novia Arifin, tapi Novia Arifin adalah nama aslinya. Okay, you can see the Instagram account at Cerita Nupi. Nupi is a eco influencer from Indonesia. Okay, you can see the video. Okay, Nupi is an influencer based in Bandung, West Java. Okay, she encouraged her followers to be environmentally by shopping wisely and avoiding single-use plastic. Okay, mindful living is a slogan they consistently use in every post. Okay, this slogan has become part of her lifestyle. Nupi last purchased clothes in 2021. Okay, the clothes she were gift from her mom and her sister. Okay, she also encouraged her followers to short wash and compost. Okay, I am personally impressed by Nupi concrete action. In this video, Nupi explained the danger of today bath soap. Okay, mass commercially available bath soap contain SLS. SLS is a water pollutant and dangerous if consumed. In addition to providing information about this effect, Nupi also recommendation SLS free product. Indirectly, Nupi is also promoting product that promote mindful living. Okay, in this slide, okay, the role of IWOM. Okay, first, review, comment, and peer content are key purchase driven. Okay, review, comment, and peer content is a key of purchase driven. Okay, Gen Z trust micro influencer and peer advertising ads. I'm sure Gen Z has a television at home. They also have a magazine and newspaper. With their attention to advertisement of television, paid as in newspaper or magazine, I don't think so. This is an area in generation to pay attention for this kind of advertising. Gen Z only look to influencer and peer of guidance when making purchase and seeking recommendation. Okay, IWOM and influencer credible strongly influence purchase intention. Okay, this is a combination point number 1 and number 2. Consumers should pay attention to review. Many review out of the honest and true review from non-real buyer, such as paid buyer or competitor, who deliberately purchase to undermine the product rating. Second, Gen Z must selective with influencer. They must understand then influencer they admit at not only physically attractive but also process quality that can inspire their follower. Wise influencer don't always encourage their follower to self-reward themselves by flexing, wasting food, and buying expensive product to show off, but rather encourage their follower to be wise. For example, we can buy a product as a form of self-reward as long we adjust them for our financial capability. Buy product based on function, not a trend. Okay. Okay. Okay, you can see Cempaka. Okay, her name is Cempaka. She was an eco-influencer from Indonesia. Look on Instagram as Kasriani. Okay. You can see the. Okay. Okay, in this slide, Cempaka has an eco-influencer. Her following to engage in mindful consumption, same like a Nupi. Okay, in previous slide. Okay, she advocate sustainability, and the issue of fashion is a key of focus, and she consistently campaign. Okay, she urged and encouraged her follower to recognize that what they currently process is more than enough, including clothes, shoes, scarf, and skincare. Okay, in this video, Cempaka remind us to that as consumer, we don't need to follow current color trend, trendy shoes, style, and bags. Okay. Behavioral segment within Gen Z. Okay, first, okay, Gen Z as a trend seeker, social media driven, impulsive, FOMO sensitive. Okay, Gen Z is driven by social media, impulsive and sensitive for FOMO. Gen Z consumer must anticipate their rewards for their consumption activity. Okay. Second, value seeker, deal-oriented, rational, comparison shopper. Consumer tend to use trend as added value. If they can follow trend, they think they have excellent to increase their value. Okay, Gen Z is a generation of change. A generation is that start to consider everything based on value spent and the benefit absent. Currently, Gen Z is following the sport trend of padel, badminton, and tennis. Okay, this trend create positive change and changing place together and party from club to sport areas. Okay. Next, conscious consumer. Sustainability aware but inconsistent. Okay, this slogan was just capable at first. But when you open social media and see influencer posting something new, it spark currents and desire in consumer who interest in it. For example, okay, if a consumer on a blue shirt, okay, then after seeing the influencer post the blue shirt was enough. Okay, the consumer will think there another color they don't have. They'll like the one influencer post. Okay, next. Okay, in this slide you can see influencer from Indonesia. Okay, her name is Enrica Valencia. Enrica is an influencer and entrepreneur from Indonesia. Okay, Enrica is currently following the padel trend. Now, allowing the several key opinion leader, Enrica consistent share her positive activity in her follower. Enrica owns several brands like Valencia by Enrica, selling limited edition shoes, and Lencir. Lencir is a slimming product and treatment beauty clinic. Okay, in this slide, Enrica seen the Padel Arena introducing and promoting Lencir, a product to key opinion leader and her follower. Okay, Enrica is an influencer with a large following who consistently share positive moment from her daily life. Many of her followers frequently interacted with her by direct message. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, you can see Enrica Valencia with a key opinion leader from Indonesia. Okay, next slide. Okay, in this slide, she was Keika Putri, our student from Paramana University. Okay, she was a content creator. Have a account Instagram Keika Putri. Okay. Okay. Keika is a outstanding student, active in organization, has a good relationship with her peers and her juniors. Okay, in this video, Keika is attending a perform called Sabang Festival. Okay, we should interpret this positive effect. Is rare for young people to one attend a performance. However, in this video, Keika demonstrate that performance can be popular travel option. Okay, and I believe it's fitting that Keika is also considered and as an influencer in Paramanda University. Okay, okay. The last in this slide about managerial implication. Okay, the final slide which final presentation regarding implementation, managerial implication. There are three things that business people want to expand in Indonesia need to anticipate in order to attractive the interest of Gen Z. Okay, first, maximize live conference and short video, for example, TikTok, Reels short, and affiliate link. Okay, given the Gen Z trend toward social media and marketplace as a preferred resources, business owner must actively share a screenshot to engage consumer. Okay. Second, engage authentic micro influencer. Business need to selective in choosing influencer with an original, honest review, followers who genuine follow them for their work, and how to interact with their follower. Okay, if a follower are interest in want to influencer do's, business can growing up whether it's a product collaboration or an endorsement. Okay. The last, combining digital and offline engagement. Gen Z tendency to choose marketplace in their shopping destination has lead to decline their preference to offline store. Okay, business can anticipate with matching product price to both offline and online store. They offering attractive promotion to consume who shop in offline during specific times, such payday or holiday session. Okay, Dr. Azlin, this last of my slide. Okay, saya kembalikan ke Dr. Azlin.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Miss Linga, for the presentations and also the sharing session. Basically, it's all about the Gen Z, and you have shared with us some of the influencers that I would say probably like very famous in Indonesia and specifically in Jakarta and all. So I believe that they are highly utilize their social media platforms such as Instagram to communicate with the followers and also the audiences in regards to probably several of their lifestyle activities and maybe some of their products and all. And based on your presentation just now, we have mentioned something about whereby the Gen Z in Jakarta, in which I'm pretty sure that the Gen Z in Malaysia share the similar characteristics, whereby they really kind of like put their trust in whatever the influencers have reviewed lah in regards to a certain product, which means that the Gen Z usually will make like brand decision or purchase decision based on whatever the influencer said. But those are actually the things that we think how it works. Kita rasa itu yang kita rasa lah, which means that we make our own assumption based on research, based on studies, based on past experiences and all. We believe that Gen Z usually rely high on the influencers before they can actually make the purchase decision. So since we have the Gen Zs with us today, so might as well we ask them, betul ke korang ni memang lihat pada influencer, memang rely 100% on the influencer, memang put trust on the influencers before you can actually make the purchase decisions. So I hope that some of the audiences, some of the students here can actually share korang punya personal opinion on that, because research says Gen Z memang tengok influencer, tapi you guys are actually the Gen Z, so why not tell us, betul ke? Alright, students please.
Okay. Saya bukan
Madam,
Gen Z.
Madam, personally for me, I trust influencer yang akan that have good brand image. Contoh kalau dekat Malaysia macam Khairul Amin, and
Okay.
also the one macam Dr. Lingga say that micro influencer, because they are more genuine in terms of sharing about products yang sometimes they really share about products that they use. So I believe micro influencers and better instead of the biggest influencer, unless it is the influencer that is known to have good brand image macam Karul Amin semua tu.
Okay, so how do you know the person is actually genuine? Based on what that you feel that okay, this influencer is genuine, that influencer is not so genuine. How do you know? How do you categorize them?
Usually these influencers is the way that basically diorang memang you boleh tengok the way from their lifestyle. So contoh kan madam, apa contoh if this one influencer diorang takkan guna skincare yang macam usually senang je untuk diorang promote skincare that they don't even use kan, tapi there's also influencers yang they'll stick to that skincare and they memang basically they are transparent. Diorang akan cakap yang macam diorang tak guna other skincare because they know that lots of people yang have the same skin sensitivity as them. Ada satu dekat TikTok ni, I don't really remember her account name, but then she'll do a review of products and dia akan cakap honestly what she thinks of the products, and basically memang lots of people, I think the same age of me, Gen Z semua, really trust her opinions sebab she's not afraid of talking. Basically dia tak, dia tak tipu lah, dia memang cakap honestly, even though if the product is not good, then she'll say it.
All right, fair enough. Okay, thank you, Dania. All right, other students, do you have any questions untuk our speaker?
I ada madam.
All right, continue.
So I want to know, Dr. Lingga, what makes the Gen Z in Indonesia loyal to a brand? Usually sebab Gen Z, we tend to switch brands a lot. So what makes them truly loyal to a brand?
Sorry, your voice is very small. You can repeat again, please, or you can using chat in Google Meet. My signal it was not stable.
All right, Ms. Lingga, Dania asked just now. She asked what makes the Gen Z in Indonesia loyal to a brand, because usually Gen Zs are not really loyal to a brand, whereby they prefer to switch to one brand after another brand depending on certain factors lah, probably cost effective or change of lifestyle and all. But I think somewhere in your presentation just now has mentioned something like the Gen Z in Indonesia, they are very loyal to a brand. So it sparks a curiosity to Dania lah. So kenapa a Gen Z di Indonesia itu boleh loyal? So what makes them loyal to a brand?
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the question. Oke, saya paparkan langsung aja ya untuk Dania. Oke. Biasanya di Indonesia untuk Gen Z sendiri banyak terpapar oleh influencer, yang dimana di Indonesia sudah banyak sekali brand yang masuk, dan artinya tugas dari generasi Z sebagai konsumen untuk selektif memilih brand yang tepat. Nah, perihal generasi Z yang memilih untuk bertahan atau berpindah merek itu tergantung dari bagaimana Gen Z apakah memiliki kecocokan atau engagement dengan produk tersebut atau memang karena pengaruh influencer yang lain dengan pemasaran dari influencer yang lain sehingga terpengaruh untuk berpindah dari brand satu ke brand yang lain. Nah, tadi saya mengangkat tentang Wardah ya, Dania, yang ini nih, sebentar. Saya mengangkat satu contoh, anggaplah skincare ya, tentang Wardah. Nah, kenapa saya mengangkat skincare Wardah? Jadi Wardah ini adalah salah satu produk skincare terbesar di Indonesia dalam bidang kosmetik dan juga skincare. Pecinta produk Wardah tidak hanya pada generasi X atau generasi milenial, tapi juga generasi Z. Nah, apa yang menyebabkan brand Wardah yang sudah lama berdiri di Indonesia diterima oleh generasi Z maupun generasi baru seperti Alpha? Karena Wardah sendiri yang berada pada company Paragon Group itu juga menyediakan produk yang tidak hanya fokus pada generasi milenial atau generasi Z, melainkan juga pada remaja. Contohnya, Paragon punya merek Calf. Calf itu untuk pria, oke, for men people. Kemudian Emina. Nah, Emina ini adalah sasaran untuk kalangan Gen Z atau generasi Alpha yang kulitnya cenderung ke arah remaja ya. Oke. Kalau misalnya Wardah itu biasanya dipercaya pada generasi milenial atau generasi Alpha. Tapi bukan berarti merek Wardah tidak bisa masuk ke generasi Z atau Gen Z. Itu bisa diterima karena Wardah juga memiliki produk yang diperlukan oleh generasi Z. Contohnya seperti sunblock, kemudian juga sunscreen, kemudian juga lipstick dengan berbagai tipe seperti matte ataupun glossy, itu yang dimiliki oleh Wardah. Sehingga ketika influencer itu membranding soal Wardah, kemudian juga ada sentimen merek lain masuk ke Indonesia sebagai pesaing dari Wardah, maka generasi Z akan cenderung memilih Wardah sebagai merek yang akan diambil untuk seterusnya. Begitu, Dania. Mohon maaf kalau kepanjangan ya penjelasannya.
Alright, Dania, satisfied with the answer?
Yes, doctor.
Have you tried Wardah before?
Ada.
You pakai apa daripada Wardah?
I pakai dia punya lip gloss.
You
Madam,
pakai dia lip gloss.
baru-baru ni I join this one program, Wanita Maywira, and then Wardah ada collab dengan program ni, so we got free makeup.
You did not buy lah. When are you going to support Wardah then?
Tapi saya ada beli produk dia yang lain, eyeliner semua.
Okay. You mentioned something about the lip gloss. I'm actually using Wardah new lip gloss. For some reason, out of many brands, tak kisahlah local ke abroad ke mahal ke murah ke, Wardah is actually something that is suitable for me. Selain daripada Dior lah, sebenarnya Dior yang paling best, tapi Dior tu mahal sangat kan. Kita marahin Wak Madani. So kita tak boleh pakai Dior selalu-selalu. But Wardah is actually pretty nice lah. So maybe you can try some other makeup brands from Indonesia. I think one of the babies lah, one of the latest brand I think in Jakarta, that is SK. So maybe you boleh try SK. To me, I think SK is new because I went to Jakarta somewhere around 2024 and then they mentioned that SK was just like newly launched. So baru kan dalam saya pergi September 2024 itu saya pergi Paramardina, and then I was like walking around in Jakarta and then I came across SK brand, and then I think one of the promoters said that it's actually a new brand from Bekasi. So I macam, okay, alright lah, so give it a try. So actually Eska pun is pretty nice. Another option lah. So it's actually the product, Eska punya price is between Glad to Glow and also Wardah. It's actually in between. So maybe korang yang Malaysia ni bolehlah try. Eska is actually pretty nice jugalah. Boleh beli dekat Shopee. Gitu promo Eska. Nampak, millennials also can do promotion lah. Okay. Alright, so any other questions from the students? Anything that you want to ask, or maybe you want to share some of your own personal views? I
Saya
understand
boleh bertanya kepada audiens?
Boleh.
Oke. Teman-teman yang teman-teman UiTM menggunakan merek skincare apa? Kalau boleh tahu. Teman-teman pengguna skincare?
Hada Labo.
Hada Labo, oke, nice. Hanasui, oke. So, ini merek yang cukup terkenal juga di Indonesia. Hada Labo, oke. Yang lain mungkin, Skintific. Wah, saya juga pengguna Skintific. Oke, Purito, oke. Alken, ya ini juga dikenal masuk di Indonesia. Purito. Glad to Glow, oke. Ini juga very famous product, Glad to Glow in Indonesia. Glad to Glow have a cheap price ya. Masuk ke kalangan Gen Z. Oke, Kaiman. Saya baru dengar Kaiman. Oke. Kaiman. Oke, berarti
tapi kan Miss Lingga, Glad to Glow is actually not it's affordable, but it's not cheap. Come to think of, in regards to the quantity of the product.
Oh ya?
You look at the quantity of the product, the quantity is actually pretty little. It's only like very, very small, and then it charge, kalau Malaysian ringgit itu is about like 15 ringgit for such quantity. So Malaysia usually kita jual size yang a little bit double than the Glad to Glow punya size dengan harga 30 ringgit something. So it's actually sama sahaja, because Glad to Glow punya size itu kecil-kecil, jadinya harganya murah, nampaknya seperti murah. So this is actually one of the ways to penetrate the market by selling products at the smaller size, so that the price will looks cheaper, and therefore it can attracts a lot of people. So that is why that Glad to Glow is one of I would say another new baby lah in the skincare punya brand range, but then it managed to penetrate the market very well because of the so-called murah punya harga, so-called affordable price, when it's actually, if you look at the size and the price, it's actually almost similar like Skintific. It's almost similar like other brands. At least this is from my own point of view lah. Kadang-kadang saya suka duduk dalam garden, dalam Watson, I pergi tengok semua skincare to make the comparison in terms of the ingredients and also in terms of the price. I think this is something that marketing people would do lah. Pergi supermarket and then tengok barang. Masuk supermarket, tengok apa dia ada. And then we do price comparison. Especially if like, because I'm Malaysian, so wherever supermarket I travel around the world, I cari dulu produk Malaysia and I make the comparison of the price. I cakap, mahalnya barang ni dekat sini. Macam tu lah. This is what we do lah. Okay, can continue?
Oke. Betul, Dr. Azin. Bahkan kami sendiri di Paramadina ya, mahasiswa kami kalau misalnya melakukan penelitian riset, menulis artikel, studi kasus yang dipilih Wardah, Skintific, Glad to Glow, itu yang diangkat. Seputar skincare yang paling banyak.
Currently lah, so skincare is something yang very wow lah for the younger generation. Back in those days when I was in their age, I couldn't be bothered about skincare. Like that was like 20 years ago lah. I tak kisah, I tak ambil tahu pasal skincare. I was more into, I don't know lah, what was I into dulu? Apa yang saya suka
Okay.
Was more on leisure lah. Tak adalah jaga-jaga diri skincare, tak. But hair, rambut, at least that is for me lah. Hair is something that I really look after. Okay, student, lagi ada soalan tak yang korang nak share ke apa ke? Come on, korang ada Gen Z, korang tak ada curiosity ke?
Saya boleh bertanya lagi ke teman-teman UiTM. Oke, teman-teman, saya ingin bertanya, apakah teman-teman ketika memilih suatu produk itu melihat iklan di televisi sebagai preferensi pembelian? Misalnya teman-teman punya televisi, melihat iklan di televisi, apakah tertarik untuk melakukan pembelian ketika melihat iklan? Atau bergantung pada influencer? Bagaimana teman-teman? Saya penasaran perihal your purchase decision, your purchase behavior. Tergantung influencer. Oke, relate ya. Di slide is relate for you guys. Oke, tergantung influencer. Baik. Yang lain mungkin apakah Oke, review juga. Wow, oke. The point is same ya. Oke. Look, oke, ada iklan. Oke, influencer. Oke. Oke, buy research ya. Oke, good. Oke, tak tengok TV. Oke. That's reality. Oke. Influencer or look. Oke. Iklan tapi bukan iklan di TV. Oke, iklan in Instagram ya. Reels in Instagram ya. Oke, depend for customer feedback. Oke. Berarti ada IWOM ya. Teman-teman cenderung melihat IWOM sebagai preferensi untuk pembelian ya teman-teman ya. Kurang lebih sama seperti yang ada di Indonesia. Tapi terkadang memang kita pribadi juga harus aware ya teman-teman ya terkait dengan IWOM. Bisa saja IWOM itu memang real dari konsumen, bisa saja IWOM itu bayaran. Dalam artian seller sudah bekerja sama dengan orang lain membeli produknya untuk membuild up komen yang positif. Khawatir seperti itu ya teman-teman ya. Jadi you must to prepare the comment and you must to membandingkan juga teman-teman dengan referensi dari keluarga, dari sahabat, apakah produk yang akan teman-teman beli itu sesuai atau tidak. Jadi jangan terpengaruh mentah-mentah dengan IWOM atau review seperti itu ya teman-teman ya, karena tidak semua orang cocok dengan produknya ya teman-teman ya. Kita harus bijak berbelanja karena saat ini perekonomian memang sedang tidak baik-baik saja di Indonesia. Kemudian juga kita sensitif terkait dengan isu lingkungan ya teman-teman ya. Masalah sampah plastik, produk sekali pakai ini juga menjadi concern di Indonesia dan ini harus diperhatikan dan kita juga harus bijak berbelanja ya teman-teman ya. Boleh mengkonsumsi tapi juga harus bijak gitu teman-teman. Harus punya value added buat kita sebagai konsumen ya. Gitu. Ya teman-teman ya. Oke. Based on TikTok. Oke. Ternyata menggunakan TikTok juga sama seperti di Indonesia juga. Oke. Mahasiswanya sangat interaktif sekali Dr. Azlin, saya senang sekali di kelas ini. Keren. Saya merasa seperti di rumah gitu Dr. Azlin di sini. Seru sekali berdiskusi dengan mereka. Oke.
Saya ada soalan for the Gen Z actually. This is like out of curiosity. Kenapa Gen Z suka beli barang di TikTok ya?
Karena di TikTok itu yang pertama influencernya kencang yang pertama Dr. Azlin. Jadi mereka tuh banyak promosinya di TikTok. Harganya lebih spesial dibandingkan di Shopee, or Lazada, or Tokopedia kalau secara harga. Kemudian juga TikTok itu engagement-nya lebih erat. Host dan konsumennya tuh lebih nyaman untuk berdiskusi. Jadi secara tidak langsung itu akan mempengaruhi konsumen di TikTok untuk melakukan pembelian dibandingkan di Shopee atau di Tokopedia. Umumnya seperti itu Dr. Azlin.
Alright, faham. It's basically kalau baca di komen pun dia macam cakap basically it's cheaper and then have lots of vouchers, promotions, and then it's easier, like it's more convenient in which that just like by looking or watching the video and so on, and then boleh terus masuk ke dalam beg kuning and all. Okay,
Banyak kuning.
So I'm not so sure whether this is like my answer is going to be like reflecting me or my generation. Maybe it's just reflecting me sahaja kot. I do not like to use TikTok because I think it's too loud.
Yes, me too.
Dia terlalu bising tau.
Yeah.
So I prefer something a little bit more subtle, like I'm not so sure whether it's because like currently we're like in the 40s, maybe that's number one, or number two is like Gen Z, ataupun maybe because the fact that I am kind of like an introvert person, so I think the TikTok is quite loud.
Yeah.
Sebab Shopee Live pun I tak suka tengok. I don't really like watching Shopee Live because I think it's loud.
Yeah, but that's true. Depend for the seller juga, Dr. Azlin. Ada beberapa seller yang fokusnya berjualan di TikTok. Contoh ya, Dr. Azlin ya. Jadi in Indonesia ada merek sepatu namanya Aero Street. Nah, Aero Street ini menjual produk sepatu yang dimana dia itu berkolaborasi dengan beberapa brand. Yang kemarin saya tengok itu terkait Aero Street kolaborasi dengan Hello Kitty, kemudian dengan Powerpuff Girl. Nah, kemarin saya juga sempat terpengaruh, Dr. Azlin. Jadi saya suka Powerpuff Girl. Saya suka dengan Blossom, Powerpuff Girl. Kemudian saya ingin memiliki sepatu itu, Dr. Azlin. Tapi sayangnya Dr. Azlin, si seller hanya jualannya di TikTok waktu itu. Nah, kemudian mau tidak mau saya harus bersiap untuk war ya, Dr. Azlin, war in TikTok. 12 PM ya 12 PM saya harus standby di TikTok untuk membeli sepatu yang saya inginkan. Dan apakah saya dapat? Tentu saja tidak, Dr. Azlin. Saya kalah perang. Saya kalah war. Kemudian karena saya tidak dapat, mau tidak mau saya membeli pada jasa titip, Dr. Azlin. Jadi ada people yang standby di TikTok seller tersebut membeli produknya, kemudian saya beli dengan harga yang sedikit tinggi. Gitu. Jadi tergantung special case-nya. Ada memang seller yang fokusnya di TikTok, walaupun dia punya Shopee, dia maunya TikTok ya TikTok. Jadi mau tidak mau konsumen yang butuh produknya harus move ke TikTok. Walaupun saya juga tidak suka dengan TikTok, begitu Dr. Azlin.
Alright, faham. Understand. Okay, so samalah kita tak suka TikTok.
Iya.
Diskaun gratis. Ambil,
Iya.
come on Azrul, kamu dah diskaun mau gratis lagi ya. Dah diskaun mau percuma lagi. Cuma-cuma aja mau gratis ya. Amboi.
Iya. Tapi kita harus paham ya Dr. Azlin dengan perilaku konsumen saat ini ya. Kita harus menerima, kita harus belajar supaya apa yang sudah kita pelajari juga selaras dengan Gen Z ya Dr. Azlin ya.
Betul. So that is why like this kinds of session is very, very important. So I'm
Yeah.
actually using this session because I also need to understand the Gen Z because we always read from research in which kadang-kadang ianya agak berbeza kan, agak slightly different from whatever we have read and the actual findings from the students lah, from the young generation themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, antaranya yang gratis. Oh, Azrul gratis ya. Tak nak lah, siapa nak Azrul? Okay. Student, do you have any other question for Miss Lingga?
Yes.
Kalau ada apa-apa
Ada,
lagi
teman-teman?
mau ditanyakan?
Atau mau cerita?
Mau
Saya
cerita,
ingin,
mau kongsi.
saya ingin mendengar ceritanya teman-teman. Kan tadi saya sudah bercerita soal Gen Z, kemudian soal beauty influencer in Indonesia, kemudian eco influencer in Indonesia, kemudian mahasiswa kami. Mungkin dari teman-teman mau cerita ke saya ingin dengar. Nah, gantian gitu ya, Dr. Azlin. Kita
Betul.
dua arah, tidak hanya saya dan Dr. Azlin, tapi teman-teman yang cerita gitu. Itu menarik loh, Dr. Azlin.
Betul. Right, student, anything yang kamu mau cerita?
Ya, ada yang mau
Cerita.
cerita nggak? Cerita.
Ya,
Let's
ada
gossip.
soalan.
Alright, go on Farah.
I have questions for Miss Lingga and Dr. Azlin. I wonder what is your prediction of the consumer behavior for Gen Alpha? Sebab sekarang ni and the future, the major purchasing power comes from Gen Z. So, what is your future? What is your prediction for future generation on their buying behavior?
Okay, Gen Alpha. Okay, Dr. Azlin or me?
You may answer it based on Indonesia perspective, then I will say
Yes.
from Malaysia
Okay.
perspective.
Okay, Dr. Azlin. Okay, in my opinion, Farah, Gen Alpha is depend for their parents. Okay, this point. Ketika Gen Alpha memiliki orang tua seorang Gen X or Gen Millennial or Gen Z, itu akan mempengaruhi pembeliannya, depend of their purchase decision. Jika kita menelisik apabila orang tua si Gen Alpha adalah generasi Z, nah maka pembelian yang dilakukan oleh generasi Alpha itu pasti akan mengikuti Gen Z. Nah, seperti yang tadi kita lihat di kolom komen, mayoritas teman-teman generasi Z itu kan berdasarkan influencer, berdasarkan review. Maka tidak menutup kemungkinan generasi alpha akan memiliki perilaku konsumen atau perilaku berbelanja, purchasing behavior tergantung dari si generasi Z berdasarkan influencer. Nah, sementara kalau untuk generasi milenial sebagai orang tua dari generasi alpha yang akan cenderung melihat dari iklan, melihat kondisi fisik dulu sebelum pembelian dilakukan, maka itu akan diikuti oleh generasi alpha. Oke, sementara kalau kita tarik lagi ke belakang ke generasi X sebagai orang tua dari generasi alpha, maka kecenderungan pembelian dari generasi alpha itu berdasarkan dari harga, kemudian kualitas produk yang akan dibeli apakah sesuai dengan harga atau tidak, kemudian dilihat dulu kondisi fisiknya apakah sesuai dengan yang nanti akan dibeli atau tidak. Dan bahkan untuk generasi X sebagai orang tua dari generasi alpha akan cenderung menyarankan untuk membeli langsung di offline store dibandingkan di online store. Kurang lebih itu pandangan dari saya, Farah. Oke.
Alright. Okay, so kalau kita tengok pada segi daripada side Malaysia pula, Gen X adalah orang yang they love to look at the review. Gen X suka tengok review. Gen millennial, kita tak tengok review. We don't care about the influencers. We don't care about your opinion. Nothing. We strictly following the prescriptions from the sellers. Okay, so you may ask some of your Gen Y punya kakak-kakak ke some of your whoever lah from the Gen Y. We don't really listen to the influencers. That's why like influencers don't really work on us. So you may tell us anything and everything, but it just doesn't work on us. So we focusing more on what is good for us. What is the benefits of using the product? Value proposition. So that is why you started to see a lot of descriptions lah for any types of product kan. Dia mesti ada long description. And then the description is not about describing the product. It's describing what's the benefits that we can get lah. Function produk itu macam mana, apa functionnya dekat kita, apa benefit yang kita dapat. Bukan description produk tapi benefit produk tu dekat kita. That one is Gen Y. And then most of the Gen Y are actually raising the Gen Alpha. So you are going to started to see a lot of Gen Alpha pun dia akan jadi sangat particular, sangat cerewet bila dia nak membeli barang. So dia memang akan nak tahu apa function benda tu, apa benefit dekat mereka, kenapa mereka kena beli, and on top of it, they are the generations that love innovations. So if let's say once you are graduated and then you have the intentions of started your own business, so you need to understand your future market will be Gen Alpha, in which Gen Alpha adalah generation yang cerewet, pandai, love innovations, which means that your product cannot be common, your product cannot be just like viral. Viral itu tak ada dalam senarai hidup mereka. We don't go for viral products. Dia akan ikut seperti lebih kurang macam Gen millennials. We don't go for viral product, we go for quality of product. Quality innovations are the utmost important elements from the Gen Alpha. Sebab you kena, kalau di Malaysia you look into the school syllabus. So Gen Alpha, they already learn about coding, they learn about robotic daripada umurnya 8-9 tahun. So diorang punya mindset is all about innovation, smart technology. Teknologi itu bukan setakat ChatGPT, it's not enough. So if let's say you can, not AI is not enough for Gen Alpha. So if let's say you want to sell something to Gen Alpha, AR and also VR must be incorporated untuk mereka. Setakat ada AI is not enough. AI is just data, wording, not enough, it's not convincing enough for the Gen Alpha. So kalau prediction saya adalah barang itu perlu highly innovation, cannot only just viral. Viral is not something that able to convince them to buy. Gen Alpha dia lebih kepada benda yang simplicity, straightforward, tapi ada value. So if it doesn't brings any value to them, they are not going to buy. And some of the Gen Alpha yang saya monitor, because we started the research on Gen Alpha yang sekolah-sekolah menengah sekarang adalah Gen Alpha, yang age 13 to 16, 17 already Gen Alpha. So they are not really a shopaholic. They don't buy things. They are very serious in terms of their purchase decision. which means seriously mereka memang lihat pada value rather than viral. Kalau benda itu viral but not bringing any value to them, not going to enhance diorang punya lifestyle, they are not going to buy for the product. And they are more into experiences rather than material. So jadinya, not saying that kalau kamu mau buat business perlulah benda yang experience saja, bukan. Maksudnya kalau kamu mau jual something, make sure benda tu ada tinggal, will touch their heart lah sebenarnya. The long lasting, something yang long lasting. Sebab dia kena ada value and long lasting to them. Viral nanti in future kan, sebab tu kalau you perasan dekat Singapore, some of the influencers they are stop diorang buat review. Diorang dah stop dah, and some of the influencers have diverted their path from becoming an influencers to something else because they know that influencers are dying. And in fact here in Malaysia we started to see it's dying. Influencers tak boleh cari makan in future. Untuk jual pada Gen Z, yes, but to the upcoming they started to see that it's not going to work. That's why like they slowly move back to affiliate. So affiliate marketing boleh, tapi maksudnya kat sini, if let's say the influencers want to remain effective in future, you need to become an affiliator, in which dalam affiliate marketing tu you need to point out the benefits and also to create lots of videos of how the product works rather than bagi tahu produk ni bagus, produk tu bagus, don't tell us how the product bagus because maybe Gen Z nak dengar review, but Gen Alpha nak dengar more on the product because Gen Alpha is born by the Gen Y, and Gen Y, there's a reason why our name is Y, is actually taken from the WHY. We need to have all the justifications, justified answer. So kita tak dengar you punya review because it doesn't work on us. We want to hear why we need to buy, why we should buy, and we are the one who producing Gen Alpha. So Gen Alpha akan ada traits yang cerewet, perlukan justification, and they need innovation. So that will be my prediction lah for Gen Alpha. Alright, thank you Farah for the question. Nak buat business fikirkanlah Gen Alpha itu like very cerewet sebenarnya. Alright, thank you. Any other questions? Alright, so Nurin says no teacher, no more question, Miss Lingga. So do you have any other questions for the students if you want to ask them anything?
Oke, saya boleh bertanya lagi, Dr. Azin, ke teman-teman UATM. Oke, teman-teman yang ada di kelas, saya ingin bertanya, biasanya apa sih produk yang banyak teman-teman beli saat ini? Apakah lebih cenderung ke produk makanan, atau skincare, atau otomotif? Oh, baju, oke, fashion. Oh, oke. Oh ya, fashion, make up, skincare, oke, make up, oke. Kurang lebih sama fenomenanya seperti yang ada di Indonesia. Food, oke. Kemudian untuk produk skincare ya teman-teman ya, apakah menggunakan lebih dari satu merek skincare atau hanya menggunakan satu merek saja? Lebih dari satu atau hanya satu? Lebih, oke. Lebih dari satu. Campur brand, oke. Lebih dari satu. Oke. Bisa saya simpulkan teman-teman di sini konsumtif ya, menggunakan produk ya teman-teman ya. Aktif berbelanja, kemudian juga konsumsinya berjalan ya. It's okay, nggak apa-apa. Karena kami juga demikian ya. Kalau kita tidak konsumtif, maka perekonomian tidak jalan gitu ya, teman-teman ya. Oke, deal ya. Jadi tidak usah malu-malu gitu ya kalau misalnya mengakui kita adalah konsumtif gitu ya. Oke, ini kurang lebih ketika kita melihat perilaku teman-teman Gen Z di kelas ini sangat menarik ya, Dr. Azlin. Kalau misalnya menjadi responden penelitian ya, Dr. Azlin, karena mereka adalah konsumen yang relevan dengan studi kasus. Saya tuh biasanya begitu Dr. Alvin. Saya melihat teman-teman mahasiswa tuh punya potensi apa. Oke, ketika mereka ada seorang konsumen, berarti mereka cocok jadi responden. Kalau misalnya ada yang melakukan penelitian serupa gitu, Dr. Alvin.
Amir, sekejap ya Miss Lingga. Amira, you nak cakap Makno ya? Nanti I panggil Makno masuk. Okay, here in Malaysia, we have this one influencer. His name is Makno. So at this point of time, Makno is like very attacking the Gen Z, whereby they keep on, he keeps on telling the Gen Z to slow down on the consumption, to spend less and to save more. And then he says that the Gen Z should do more than one task lah, more than one job lah, do a lot of part-time jobs, in which at that point, so saya adalah orang yang forever against Makno. Wow. Ada beberapa perkara yang saya agree dengan Makno. So Makno macam Makno kata to spend less, which I think partially yes. I'm not saying the Gen Z should spend less. I think the Gen Z should be mindful on what to spend. Mindful, yes, that is the word. But untuk memberitahu Gen Z supaya tidak berbelanja itu agak kelakar. Mindful maksudnya beringatlah. You should be careful on what to spend. I don't think there is any harm to eat ayam gepuk. I don't think there is any harm to drink a lot of matcha. But that is something yang saya risau kalau mereka selalu makan ayam gepuk and matcha. Ayam gepuk di Malaysia itu mahal ya, Miss Lingga. Kalau di Indonesia itu kalau dah di-convert duitnya, ayam gepuk di Indonesia it's about like RM6. Tapi di Malaysia ayam gepuk itu dalam RM18. So it's triple the price than in Indonesia. So that is why like Makno, he doesn't really encourage for the Gen Z to buy ayam gepuk because it's expensive. Might as well you eat nasi campur, nasi padang. So nasi padang is fine, but nasi campur lah mixed rice is fine. But if ayam gepuk is slightly very expensive. Rindunya ayam gepuk. Jangan makan ayam gepuk. Kau puasa dulu ayam gepuk tu. Tahun depan baru makan. Bajet tahun depan ya Hanim. Tahun ni jangan makan lagi mahal. Okay, so itu yang maknanya concern. Tapi bagi saya, I don't find it's harm for the Gen Z to buy ayam gepuk or to drink matcha. It's just that need to be mindful lah. Don't eat it every single day. Like once a week, it's fine because it's expensive. The price of ayam gepuk is expensive here in Malaysia. Itu sahaja, tak ada masalah. And then the second one is Makno kata the Gen Z should do a lot of part-time, find additional income. But believe me, when I said this, I discourage. Saya adalah orang yang tak nak student saya kerja part-time. Sebab bagi saya, masa tengah kuliah, at the age of 18 to 22 while you are still in your tertiary level S1, saya rasa student patut embrace life. Not to do part-time unless it is highly required, maybe like very strongly financial incapable family itu memang dari keluarga yang susah, then yes, pergilah kerja part-time. Tapi kalau family-nya itu masih mampu, please don't highly encourage the students to do part-time because at this point of time lah mereka perlu embrace life. Sebab the moment you masuk work life nanti after you graduated, believe me, you tak ada masa. You tak ada masa not because that you need to work like really hard. Tak. You tak ada masa because masa tu you have other commitment. You have family commitment, you have parents commitment, you have other sides of commitment. So masa tu you dah kerja. So pergilah enjoy hidup tu. I bukan ada Gen Z punya side, I'm realistic. I'm realistic, okay. So sebab masa saya belajar dulu pun saya tak kerja. So kenapa korang kena kerja? So but masa belajar pun I was like very careful with my expenses. But I think this has something to do with how your upbringing maksudnya ada family is some students are very lucky enough whereby the family are going to give you extra pocket money. But like myself, I never receive any pocket money. But I also like refuse to work. So I need to be mindful on my expenses. But regardless, still I enjoy my life. So I usually share with my students lah, malam saya tak belajar. So I keep on telling my student, malam you jangan belajar. Siang hari you belajar all out. Like from 8 o'clock until 6 p.m. you belajar lah, whether you have classes or you don't have classes, that will be the time for you to belajar. Malam is for your brain and for your body to relax. So I practice this work-life balance right from the very beginning lah. Up until today, I refuse. So student jangan contact saya malam. Malam is for my brain to relax. So you don't contact me malam-malam. You don't kacau me on weekend. So I've been practicing this work-life balance. So I understand lah. More than chilling with friends. Yes, I go chill with my friends. I go eat nasi biryani ayam bawang. Go lah, pergi makan. Alright. So itulah dia. Any other questions? So we reaching.
Menarik sekali Dr. Azlin. Jadi mahasiswa suka ayam ya?
For some reason, I think Malaysian they love ayam. I don't know why.
Okay. Ada pertanyaan juga terkait dengan ayam, tapi ini bukan tentang ayam. Nah, Dr. Azlin, saya tertarik ingin mengetahui apakah generasi Z yang ada di kelas ini berpikir terkait dengan pola hidup sehat, mengkonsumsi makanan yang kalorinya terjaga, atau memang hanya mengincar ayam saja? Saya penasaran dengan hal ini. Ada work-life balance?
Okay, Gen Z, pergi cerita. You memang suka ayam ataupun you like you look at the calorie or macam mana? Amira, you suka semua semua jenis ayam you suka ya? Semua yang sedap I makan, madam. Okay.
Berarti ada yang menjaga pola makan dan ada juga yang suka jajan, makan ayam gitu ya. Okay. Ada yang menjaga. Jadi
I rasa kan when it comes to Gen Z kan, we have like you know like every generation it's between like 20 years of age kan. So I think the first half of Gen Z, the one is currently in the working environment, those are the one who love to go for the viral food or all the cheese food, all the viral food lah. This is from my own observation. But the second half of Gen Z, the ones is currently studying, they are more into they watch the portion. That's number one. Number two, based on my observation, they don't really go for viral food. Number three, as far as I could, based on observation again, yang second half of Gen Z, umur 18 hingga dalam 24 itu, they prefer to drink ice water, like plain water, rather than sweet drinks. Tapi kalau the first half of Gen Z, mereka memang suka yang ada yang inilah yang Makno the influencer bising tu. The first half of Gen Z, they don't really be mindful on the expenses. They slacking in the employment. The first half of Gen Z, but the second half, I think they are very much different tau. Second half of Gen Z, kebanyakan sebenarnya perangai korang macam Gen Y. Sebenarnya, based on observation, yang umur 24, 23, 22, 20, 21 di Malaysia, kebanyakan Gen Z yang that age lah, 20 sampai 24, their behavior is almost alike Gen Y. Second half of Gen Y. Maksudnya Gen Y yang umurnya 30, late 30s and 40. Tapi 40 and above yang itu first half of Gen Y. Yang itu perangai dia memang beza sikit lah. We don't agree with them as well. So second half of Gen Y and second half of Gen Z are almost alike. Second half of Gen Y is myself and the second half of Gen Z like the current students. Tapi kalau first half Gen Z itu memang pelik sikit lah. They go for all those viral food. They don't really watch their eat. They don't really watch for the calorie. They go for all those cheese. This is from observation lah. I haven't like really conduct a real research on that. But this is based on observation, how I look into the students in my class about 10 years ago. And current students, they are very much different in terms of food consumption. Yang student sekarang memang banyak minum air putih, memang banyak drink mineral water. Dia tak not on coffee, tak, occasionally yes, but that is not their lifestyle. See, love plain water.
Bagus. Kalian
different
keren.
lah. Second half of Gen Z is very different. Dia tak sama dengan the first half of Gen Z. So I really look forward for the second half of Gen Z to actually be in the employment. because we receive a lot of complaints from the company saying not so good things about the Gen Z, the current one in the employment. So we are looking forward for the second half of Gen Z to actually be in the employment so that we would know ada beza ke tidak. Sebab from my own perspective, first of Gen Z memang playful because the first half of Gen Z are COVID era. So they don't, you know, like COVID era, they are like 100% of ODL, they 100% work from home. So diorang agak a little bit manja. But the second half of Gen Z, they already be in the system kan. They'll be in the school setting, dah masuk kuliah semula, kita dah expose balik. So diorang punya exposure is slightly different. So diorang punya expectations is also slightly different. At least this is from my own point of view and assumption lah. So korang, student, I'm waiting for you guys to actually be in the industry So please prove whatever I said was correct lah. I puji korang tau. I put a lot of compliments on you. So I really hope that my assumption is right lah. Okay, so kalau tidak ada lagi soalan, we may end today's session. But if let's say you have more questions, you may ask lah. Our session is up until 12:15. Sekarang is 12:03. So kalau di Indonesia itu up until 11:15.
11, yes.
11:15. Okay, ada lagi tak soalan mahu tanya? Daripada Miss Lingga ataupun daripada student? Come on lah, share lah. Kita pun nak tahu juga. I need to learn about you guys.
Kami menunggu teman-teman main ke Jakarta ya.
Kamu mau ke Jakarta tak? Ada tak siapa yang nak buat internship di Jakarta? Kalau ada mau buat internship di Jakarta, Ibu Lingga ada cadangan tak? Di Paramadina itu ada tak? Korang nak buat intern tak dalam Universiti Paramadina? Paramadina baru pindah universiti, universiti cantik yang baru ni.
Nanti Dr. Azlin kontak Pak Didip ya. Yes.
Okay, kalau ada yang nak intern di Jakarta, please lah let me know. Student, kalau ada mau intern di Jakarta. Mungkin boleh, Paramadina boleh tolong usahakan cari company di sana ataupun maybe boleh intern di University Paramadina itself. Who knows, you might nak beli local brand Indonesia. I ask you to do internship, bukan pergi shopping. Okay, so kalau tidak ada apa-apa lagi soalan, maybe kita boleh stop sharing the slide and then kita boleh tangkap gambar. Amira kaya sangat agaknya mau shopping. I suruh you pergi intern, sibuk nak shopping.
Teman-teman boleh on cam, saya ingin melihat wajah cantik dan wajah tampannya.
Amin Marisa, dia kaya. Okay, amin. Amira is very rich. Baguslah Amira, kamu duduk Jakarta. Okay, kindly please switch on your camera because we want to take a photo session and also Miss Lingga would like to see your pretty faces and ganteng-ganteng wajahnya.
Yang ganteng, yang tampan, yang cantik.
Yang cantik. Yang mana belum pakai tudung, pergi sauk tudung tu. Pergi cari tudung.
Kalau in Sunda, we say gelis and kasep.
Gelis and kasep. Kamu orang Sunda ya?
No, I live in West Java, and Sunda is language beside Indonesia. Sunda. Sunda. Oke, teman-teman, boleh on cam dulu sebentar untuk sesi photoshoot.
Alright. Please switch on your camera. Nasib, tadi you cakap you bukan Gen Z, you Gen apa?
Gen 2, madam.
Gen 2 fine.
Wah.
Okay, kemas-kemaskan rambut, lap-lap air mata, lap-lap lah apa yang nak dilapkan. Handsome dah Nasir. Turunkan sikit kamera tu. Screen komputer ke apa ke turun sikit supaya we can see more of you daripada dinding. Sama juga dengan Fadli. Yes. Ihsan, why you so serious, Ihsan? Or not so serious, huh? Alright. Okay, smile everyone. So we're still waiting for the girls to switch on the camera. Amir tak buka lagi, Aiman pun tak buka lagi. Yang lelaki-lelaki tak buka lagi ni kenapa? Bergolek atas katil mentang-mentang online. Touch up ni. Dahsyat korang main touch up. Okay, betul kan rambut tu? Handsome dah Fahmi. Fahmi ke nama dia? Tak keluar full name kat sini. Ke kiri sikit. Siapa nama tu? Amir? Alright. Okay, smile everyone. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, sekejap je. Okay, one more. Smile. Miss Lingga, nanti gambarnya saya kirim pada Pak Didip ya.
Terima kasih Dr. Azlin.
Alright, okay. Thank you, Miss Lingga. Thank you, everyone, for today's session. Hopefully that we have learned a lot, seeing the perspective of Gen Z from a different perspective lah, from the Indonesian perspective and also from the real perspective lah. All this while we've been reading here and there. So today we actually learned something from you guys. So thank you for the inputs, dear students, and also dear Miss Lingga. Nanti apa-apa yang lainnya nanti saya akan kirim sama Pak Didip ya, Miss Lingga. And as for the students, I'll be seeing you guys again tomorrow 2 o'clock. For our class, chapter 9. 10. 8. Ambil kau, semua chapter dah tak ingat. Lama tak masuk kelas.
Thank you Dr. Azlin. Thank you guys. Have a
Alright,
nice day.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih ya Miss.